Horizon Zero Dawn is the new game from Guerrilla Games. They made Killzone. This is a lot different from Killzone. This is not a first-person shooter. I'm Kyle Hilliard. Jeff Marchiafava is here.
Hey.
And here's 4 things to know about Horizon Zero Dawn.
So the first thing you need to know is that Horizon has the best and worst features of an open world game. As you can see, it is a huge, beautiful world. There are all these different types of biomes. You got like the desert parts of the world and like forest and stuff like that. Anywhere you can see, you can go, like that whole line that we always hear about these games. But a lot of the activities that you're doing in the game will feel very familiar if you have played other open world games.
It's clearly like Guerrilla's first open world game.
Yeah. If you've played Far Cry, there are bandit camps in this game that you have to kind of sneak through and take out all the bandits. You're going to upgrade all of your inventory items by hunting animals and using their skins and stuff.
Robot animals and real animals.
Yeah. And you've seen, like the long neck dinosaurs that you kind of climb up and...
Giraffosaur.
Yeah, to activate and uncover parts of your map and everything. You also have the crafting system, which requires you to constantly be scrounging for items and picking plants and berries no matter where you're going. You always feel compelled to stop and pick those things because that's how you're going to craft all of your ammo.
But you can assign like what you want to go pick, right?
If you're going for a specific thing and you need specific items, you basically create a job out of that, and that will help you find it. But ultimately, if you're running to your next mission and there are a bunch of little plants and stuff along the way, if you're like me, you're going to feel compelled to stop and get them because you're not going to want to run out of being able to build arrows while you're in the middle of a battle. As someone who kind of suffers from open world fatigue at this point, I think it does all of these things well, most of them better than other games. But if you really don't like that open world format, Horizon's not going to change your mind. The story is actually pretty good.
Ooh.
I was surprised by it. That was one of the huge questions we had going into it. I think a lot of people, we've played some of this at preview events and stuff. We were feeling pretty good about how it actually plays in the combat and stuff. But the story has always been a big question mark. I feel it's not really something that Guerrilla is known for, especially going into what they want to be, this big open world RPG. They wanted to add more story to it. And I was surprised by how well it turned out. It's not Naughty Dog or BioWare caliber of dialogue or anything like that. You're not making big choices like you would in The Witcher, but they set up some really interesting mysteries that they kind of tease throughout the entire game. At the end, any questions that you have, they just lay them all bare. They lay all the answers out. It's like this marathon of revelations about what the world was like beforehand, what's going on with Aloy. They really embrace sci-fi as well. It's not just used as a backdrop to go shoot robots that look cool. They really flesh everything out. They have centuries worth of a timeline that they fill out, and all that stuff ended up being way more compelling than I thought it was going to be.
And satisfying overall is kind of what I got
Yeah.
from you.
Like I said, you can probably point to any one conversation with most of the characters look like complete idiots, and it won't be the best writing that you've ever heard, but I really dug the world building that they did. Robot dinosaurs are mean, Kyle.
They look mean. They don't look friendly.
No, they really aren't. Occasionally, you'll fight against human beings in this as well, and that feels very standard fare for, these kind of games. It's still satisfying and rewarding, but the robot dinosaurs are what really steal the show. Even the weak ones can be a real threat to you. You have the compy-like watchers. They're smaller. They have a big eye, so you know where to shoot it. They don't take much damage, but they will swarm you as a group. They have an attack that can blind you, and most importantly, they'll call in other enemies.
They're not stupid robot dinosaurs.
No.
They're smart. They're little smarty.
They're smart. And there are about 25 different types of these dinosaurs. You've probably seen like the crocodile type one and those kind of things. They all have their own unique components to them, and you'll be getting stronger as you go up throughout the game. You'll be unlocking skills and you'll be upgrading your weapons, but even in the end game scenario, they're all still dangerous. You really have to approach them smartly. When you're going up against a giant Thunderjaw, which is basically a T-Rex, he will kill you fast. Strategy is super important in this game. You can't expect to just run in and stab a bunch of dinosaur robots and expect to live through it. They will kill you super fast. You have to use stealth when you're going, and the stealth mechanics actually work really well.
You're hiding in the grass, right? There's like a lot of grass to kind of duck down into.
Mm-hmm. They have a vision system. They have a hearing system. If they see you and start to charge you, you'll have to break their line of sight, at which point they'll look around the last place that they saw you. So you have to take those things into account. You'll have to use traps. When you come onto a big herd of robots, you're going to want to stay around the periphery and lay out traps beforehand, especially if you're going up against something bigger. You'll want to have a way to escape. And so you can kind of lay out traps and then run past them and herd them into them. You have to think about the different elemental types. You know, you have freeze damage and shock damage and fire damage. And they have specific components on their body that may be susceptible to those things. But at the same time, you can target those and blow them up for additional damage, or you can use your tear arrows, which basically do tear damage.
They don't just call them taros?
That would have been smarter. You should probably contact Gorilla. Maybe they can do that in a patch. Your tear arrows will actually rip off components. They are basically your crafting items as well.
So the review's on the site now. You can read our review now. Jeff, when you like this game, it seems like a cool game.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun.
For more on Horizon, it was actually on our cover. So you can track down our coverage hub where we went to the studio. We got a ton of features there. Check that out. And you know what? We'll really like you a lot if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much in advance.